Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan
Back in the house, baby, for
back in the
semifinal
house.
pod. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So how's the tournament been from a betting perspective for you?
First few days were great and fantastic. It was good up until like day three, and then or not day three, like it was good up until like the fifth or sixth day, and then since then it's been kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, there hasn't been a lot of tennis.
Yeah, the second week of slams, we've grown to not like them too much. It just
Well,
like
and like unless you get great matches,
yeah.
it's not great. And like if you go through, I don't know, like going through the fourth round, like Sinner beat Shelton. Like that was kind of always a known. We had a retirement. Um, you had Alcaraz beat Humbert. Like I don't think that was a particularly interesting match. Like I know Humbert won a set pretty big, and Humbert actually really did show up the last two sets, and Humbert played fantastic in the third, and actually for a good part of the fourth as well. But we had Paul and Agut. Like that's just not an interesting match. I don't know how that was a fourth round match in a
Yeah.
slam. Musetti and I guess it must have been a gas Pericard. I don't know. Fritz and an injured Zverev. Feast and Demonor, which was actually kind of an okay match. And then Rune just didn't show up against Djokovic. But like, it's amazing how much there's been like injured, sick, or it's just like I just thought like the after the third round was a lot of like really dull matches, like relative to the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, and two of the, I guess, quote unquote, best matchups per se, or marquee matches, like didn't happen really. Like Dimitrov Medvedev, I was really looking forward to, and that, was void after 5 games. And then the Demon or Djokovic, like that didn't happen. So when two matches are completely wiped off the slate, it just becomes like just a crappy,
And honestly,
crappy week of
up
tennis.
until now, so and then Sinner was sick, sick against Medvedev. Up until this part of the tournament, those are three of the four matches that I would be most interested to see.
Right.
Like the only other match that would be up there that would be an interesting matchup so far for me is Alcaraz Paul. I think is always a fun matchup.
Right.
And honestly, I thought Paul just wore down after a set and a half. Like Paul was up a set and a break, and I thought honestly, like the end of the match, last two sets from Paul were not excellent.
Yeah, he just wore down like Alcaraz's ball speed and explosiveness, and like he just couldn't keep up anymore, right? Like that's
Yeah,
what got to him. And it was a shame because like I thought Paul was matching him to that point. He just like couldn't maintain that intensity, and it shows how far Paul has to go to beat these guys. Like I think honestly,
it's really again like we bash Alcaraz a lot, but it's something you got to credit him for. The fact that like he's he just like he's kind of got that Nadal like just hang around. You know what I mean? He just and it's more than just hang around. Like he's incredibly, he's an incredible player, incredible athlete, incredibly physical. But like I
yeah.
mean, how many guys can beat him in best of five?
It's a
It's
very
probably
short
less
list,
than
and
10
it
guys.
almost feels like you have to beat him in four because, like, if you get to the fifth, I feel like he has a significant edge.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true, but I was meaning more like in best of fives, you know, like how do you beat it? Like how many guys actually have the combinations to beat him in best of five? I mean,
It's very few guys. I mean, like, you can even argue that Djokovic struggled with it too because, like the Grand Slam match that he beat him in the best of five was a match in which Alcaraz cramped up badly, you know.
yeah.
And the
So I
one
mean,
time they
six
did
guys
play
have beaten
five,
Alcaraz in a slam in the last 3 years, right? You got Berrettini who beat him in a fifth set tiebreak at the
that was before
Australian
Alcaraz
Open.
was Alcaraz.
I agree. You've got Zverev beat Alcaraz in four at Roland Garros, and that was maybe in between. Like Alcaraz had definitely started to be something then, but again, that's Zverev, who's a top player, and I actually think Zverev is probably
Yeah.
of guys on the tour. He might be in terms of like tough matchups for Alcaraz, I think he might be the toughest matchup for Alcaraz.
The problem is the mental component, like deep in the match. So I don't put him on that list of guys that can beat him in best of five just because
Oh,
like
I disagree with that. He's beaten him twice in best of five, hasn't he? Yeah, he's the only
that's
guy who's beaten
true.
him
That's
twice
true.
in a best
Okay,
of
I
five.
give you that. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe not in the final, but if the matchup happens in the quarterfinal or a semi, maybe he could take him out.
Yeah, I think if the matchup happened, yeah, I think is right, the worse it is for Zverev. Like,
Right. The more at stake. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the more at stake, though. I mean, I won't say the more at stakes. I feel like it's just like at this point, I feel like it's just when he gets close to slam finals.
Yeah, that's the last hurdle for sure.
Yeah.
And how injured was he against Fritz? Was he
Um,
more fatigued or was he actually injured? I
Probably
can't
a combination, you know?
I get
Like, probably a combination. It's one of those things where, like, 10%, like, the difference even between, like, Zverev and Fritz, right, is not that big. So if Zverev is a little bit under his normal, like, level, 10% under, it's going to make a massive difference.
that's true.
Um,
Yeah, I still thought that he was hitting a decent ball. I actually thought Fritz played really well in those last three sets. And like I thought the difference in like I thought Fritz liked Zverev's ball that was coming at him way more than he liked Musetti's ball. Because I feel like Fritz struggles with variety. And if you're able to kind of attack the corners and stretch guys out wide, like stretch him out wide, I feel like he struggles with that. Whereas like Zverev hits like very kind of hard linear balls. And I think like Fritz actually likes that and he feeds off that pace. Whereas Musetti gives him a bunch of different looks, and I think he really struggled with that.
yeah, I think, like, my take on Fritz Zverev is that, like, they're both good matchups for each other. Because, like, like, both of
Sure.
them just want to bash balls,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a ball bashing contest. Like, but honestly, no, but I'm gonna say I think that's how you kind of know Zverev was like Zverev. I think was moving fine in that matchup, like side to side.
Hmm.
At least from what I saw, I thought his side to side movement
Yeah,
was
he really
fine.
struggled moving up and down.
Yeah, which ironically he always struggles with. So it's hard to say, or not always, but he struggles with it. But he's gotten better at it. I think that's why I think he was. I think he was hurt. Like maybe not.
But the thing is, like, Fritz can't really expose that because he doesn't really have good feel.
Right,
And he
right.
doesn't have a backhand slice either. So he just like rips balls from the back. I thought he served incredibly well. I thought he was very mentally tough in that match. But I feel like if you implement variety against Fritz, he really, really struggles with that. And
Yeah,
that's
he
what
has
you
no
said he
interest in
did
coming into the
well.
net. I
Huh?
mean, he does. He'll come in a little bit, but he really he's just stiff. I mean, it's the same complaint we've had for years now. You know what I mean? Like he does what he can. Like he's just not a very good he's just not a very good athlete. Like for a pro athlete.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I don't know. It's a shame that Demoner got hurt because I really wanted to see him. I mean, I actually thought he had a pretty good chance to beat Djokovic. Just Djokovic was there might have been a mental component, sure, in the end, but like Djokovic, I just am not impressed by anything Djokovic has done at all. Like, and it still hasn't been an impressive run. Like, okay, he beat a Holger Rune that just didn't show up. Like,
Yep. I agree with that.
but he lost a set to
To Poprin, to Burnley.
Fromley. I guess those are the two he lost. He lost. I mean, yeah, it's been one of the weaker runs to like if he makes the final, it's been one of the weaker runs to a slam final ever. Like to beat a qualifier, a college player, uh Popperin, win by showing up,
Right.
and now he's gonna play Musetti in the semis. A guy who's a clay
Yeah.
quarter, like
It's a weak run. I mean, there's nothing I can say. I think like I've always said this about Djokovic. I always thought he needs like external factors to motivate him almost. So like him against the people doubting him for this knee problem. This is actually motivating him. Um, him against the crowd, that interview, right? Like he just needs these external factors and he's like creating them. And that makes him dangerous in itself, I feel. Um, and if he gets to the final, are you saying like if he plays like say hypothetically he plays Medvedev in the final? Like who do you make the favorite in that match?
Oh, easily Medvedev. Easily.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's not too difficult for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just because of how much like I don't think he's a huge. I guess like not easily. Like I don't think Medvedev's a huge favorite in that. But if I were making him, like Medvedev will be a dog,
He will be, right.
so I'll be on Medvedev. Like, but I think Medvedev is actually more than 50% likely to win that. I guess the only, and I hate doing this every time, but like, I think the only question at that point is like, has Djokovic like has gotten the best of Medvedev in big moments. The only big match I can remember Medvedev winning against Djokovic is the U.S. Open final when Djokovic was under all the pressure from playing so many matches, but also being a match away from the calendar slam.
Yeah, that's the only match where he was better in a big moment against. I mean, he's been better in like Dubai semis and you know World Tour finals and stuff like that, right? Cincinnati semi, but not in the slam. That was the only match in which he actually
Yeah.
showed up. So, I mean, he showed up to the other ones. He just like couldn't rise to the occasion or win big points.
Right. So that would be the biggest question for me, ironically, if he plays Djokovic, would be that. But I would think, I don't know, I would like Medvedev's I just, man, I don't know.
I mean,
Djokovic has not looked good. He still hasn't looked good.
the Rune match is so hard for me to
I'm just
pinpoint.
giving Rune absentee and not even counting that. So then what do you like?
So you think that was all bad Rune and no, like not good
I mean, I
Djokovic?
think a little bit of it was Djokovic, but not that much.
I tend to agree with you. It's Rune was really bad. I mean, like in terms of also, you know, he just played like a dumb tennis match.
Yeah, I
Not
don't really
necessarily a
understand it.
bad
Like, I
tennis
really
match,
don't
just a
understand what Room
dumb
was
tennis.
trying. Yeah, I agree.
You know?
And it was weird. It was weird. It was just yeah. But the thing is, like, this is not the first time. I mean, we've talked about this. Like, this is like the third or fourth dud Rune has had this year, where he's just like dudded.
Yeah, but he usually doesn't dud in a big spot against a top player. He usually duds if he like plays some, lower ranked guy where he's the favorite.
That's
That's
fine, but like, it's still. I guess it's only the second. Well, I guess it's only the second true dud this year. Like, Korch, I guess he was hurt supposedly. Oh no, it's at least the third, if not the
the
fourth.
Marjan dud, the Struff.
Marjan, Struff, and Korch may or may not have been a dud. I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, that was a
Like
weird.
I would have given Holger the benefit of being injured, but then he played UTS 4 days later. So like,
Exactly. Yeah. See, Djokovic is so hard for me to read. Like, I don't even have a decent read because he's really played no one. So I can't really tell if he's in good form. I can't really tell if he's healthy. I can't. It's very hard to pinpoint. I think. I mean, we'll get more into the Musetti matchup, but like, I feel like he's a decent matchup for him. Like, I'm not necessarily buying Musetti's run either, but Musetti does play him tough. He does use variety. He's a guy that can test Djokovic's movement, you know? Um, and I think the thing with Djokovic is like he's not explosive anymore, right?
No.
Like I think that's been a problem with him all year. Like he's balanced, he's steady, he's mentally tough, like he's always there. But I think the biggest difference is that of it is like his lack of explosion,
I agree.
you know? And against Musetti, I think Musetti has the tools to do it in patches, but also the mental gap is just so freaking massive that it's not going to even matter, right? But like if he plays Alcaraz, for example, that's going to be a big problem for him, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
If
I
he
think
plays Medvedev, I tend to agree with you. I just think that that mental component is pretty big too. And like that would probably be 50-50. But like it's just it's hard for me to really get a grasp on Djokovic, you know?
I'm also just pissed because like I wanted to fade him so hard. I tried to fade him like not fade him so hard. Because honestly, like I don't think I've lost. I think I've won more bets than I've lost on Djokovic. Because he's been like he really
Yeah,
hasn't been good like relative
right.
to like his competition. But but I did actually no, I did lose because I had the two bets I two or three units on Holger Rune
Yeah.
against him to do something just to like win a set. Two sets, not even win the match. Like
It
just
just went
show
a
up and like
stat.
compete. And
Yeah,
usually he does. Like usually Holger Rune does, but just a dud, you know.
yeah.
It's a problem. Three
Oh,
duds in a year is a lot.
it is. It is.
Like that's not acceptable.
For a player of his caliber too, like with the amount of talent that he has, like he has such a,
Yeah.
and then he had the audacity to talk about being a big three with Sinner and Alcaraz in the press conference. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you're not even close to where those two guys are. You're not even like,
Yeah, I'm not sure why well, I think he's just trying to do it. I mean, look, he's done a good job of marketing himself, and I think that's more of him marketing himself than like I don't even know how much he believes he's like in that big three, you know?
I guess, but like you got to show it on the court. We just saw you like lay an egg on the court, you know, like stink up the joint against a struggling Djokovic in a big spot in a big match like that. That's when you want to prove yourself. And like, then you come to the press conference and you say that you're on the same level as Alcaraz and Sinner. Like, it just doesn't look good. The optics of it are terrible, you know? So,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it
Fritz is
still might have been a good
closer.
business move. Like, you know, like I don't know, man. Like we talk about this all the time. Like it's just like it's the way tennis is. Like all these individual sports are this way now. Like so much of it is just like self marketing, and I don't know. I feel like
I don't
yeah, I
know.
feel like it could be a good move on his part from that perspective to do what he did. But I agree from a tennis perspective, it does like as an actual fan of tennis, it reeks of like ugh.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. As far as Djokovic goes, I mean, what did you make of those, like, you know, those comments that he made in front of the crowd again after
Oh,
Rune?
who cares? Like it's just Djokovic just does stuff, you know. Like I don't even like think about it, you know. Like I'm just like I don't like that drama. Like I don't know. It's just Djokovic creating drama to create drama, you know.
I think but I think it has a deeper meaning. Like, I think it allows him to, it gives him motivation. Like, it's created by him because it's like drama created by himself. But I think that that drama creates motivation.
Maybe I don't know. I mean it.
No,
I maybe I guess I don't know.
you know,
It's
yeah.
hard for me to get in Djokovic's head. I don't think. I mean, I don't really see how it'd be so hard to be motivated. It's like to try to win. I guess though, if you've won 24 of them or 25 of them, maybe it's different. I don't know.
Yeah, he's lived, I think, like his entire life. This is like the main thing with Djokovic is that he's constantly tried to prove people wrong, right? Like everyone thought Federer and Nadal were the best, right? And he did everything he could, and he succeeded in proving people wrong. Right now, this knee injury, right? Like he's trying to prove that, you know, like he can overcome it, right? And prove people wrong. That's what his whole thing is. Like even when he grew up in Serbia, like he's trying to defy the odds and like escape a war and like overcome everything. Like that this is like his main persona and like this need thing and this crowd thing is all like part of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I
Probably
don't
not
know.
the best way of putting it, but like I think, I'm not the most eloquent speaker. I wish I was, but like I really think that that's what it is. And like these guys in this half of the draw are such scrubs. Like he knows that he can dust them aside even if he's like 40%, And it's just he's like creating motivation for himself even when he's injured. Like it's insane, you know?
Yeah, I just like I said, I don't know. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard for him to create motivation, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as I think we got to move on to Yannick Sinner. I personally, I think that the physicality problems are evident. They're still there. Um, like he won the Australian Open because he was just better than everyone else and dusted everyone aside. And he was lucky that Medvedev played, like 22 hours of tennis leading into the final. You know, um, but last year we were making fun of him. Like, can he get through a 2 week tournament without, feeling sick or, getting food poisoning or just like staying healthy? And we refused to bet center futures for that reason. And like it feels like a couple, like 6 amazing months. Like I'm not taking anything away from him. That kind of scrapped all those concerns. And I think they manifested itself in this week in particular.
Um, like, so I guess several things about Sinner, right? Like, first, like, he's a much better pure tennis player than he was a year ago. And he's gotten much better at dealing with bigger. Actually, I don't even know if like I think he's gotten better at dealing with bigger moments. That's definitely true. And he's gotten a lot better at tennis over the past. I'm gonna say 18 months. Actually, I think he started to get quite a bit better at the beginning to middle of last year also. And he just
Mhm.
wasn't kind of getting over the mental hurdle yet. And then he cleared that hurdle. But now the next hurdle is this physicality hurdle. But I think like but he's gotten better at coming forward. He's gotten more like his movement's gotten better, his defense has gotten much better. So like he's done a lot of things to become a better tennis player. Um, yeah, like the health issues are still there. And the physical, but I think it's both. And I don't think it's just like I don't think it just manifested itself this week. I think that's wrong. Like basically every loss he's had this year has been either he got worn down or he was, sick/hurt.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like it's the last issue that still exists, is I think is more what I would say. But I don't know that it's like I don't think it just manifested itself this week. I think it's been a problem. I don't think it ever really stopped being a problem, with the exception of like, one like with the exception of of one slam, but like that's looking more like the anomaly in terms of the physicality piece. Not that he shouldn't be a favorite, because he still should, because like if he stays healthy, he's so much better, but like than everyone in the field except maybe a couple guys. But yeah, I
I I
think
thought
that
I thought that like the net game, like the lack of variety and the lack of net game actually manifested itself against Medvedev. Like Medvedev actually came to net one more time than Sinner. I was looking at the stats, and that was also pointed out in the MP9 pod. Like that's not going to be a problem that Alcaraz has tomorrow. Like I feel like Sinner that he's not like he's better at it. I'm not going to deny that. He's just not comfortable at doing it. So when he's like struggling a little bit physically, he doesn't have the confidence to do that. you know?
I don't know. I'd have to dig in. I could dig in more because I would also take the theory that you have to be quick and explosive to get into the net, and if you're sick or hurt, I'd love to if you're sick or hurt, it's harder to get into the net. At least harder to get into the net and get in position to make your volleys easy, right? Like if you're a fantastic volleyer, then maybe it's like easier to get. Maybe you can get in anyways, but Sinner's never going to come in like looking to volley. He's coming in like looking to put away easy volleys.
Right.
Like he's not going to play like a Max Purcell or something where like he's going to be coming in like looking to like knowing he's going to have to hit one or two volleys.
That's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I just think I
I
chalk it
think
up to
I,
like
I think that
this.
physicality piece is such a huge part of it that like I don't think you can consider him the best player in the world. Like I think it's Alcaraz. Just that physicality gap is just so massive. And like you talked about, okay, if these guys play, you know, 5 sets in like separate instances and just play like one set each time. Yes, okay, Sinner probably wins 4 of them. I agree with you, but that's not tennis, right? Tennis is the Grand Slam tennis is best of 5. And that physicality part of it is such a massive component. Like if Alcaraz plays Sinner in Grand Slams, I would think Sinner needs to win the first 2 sets to have a chance of winning that match. If they split the first 2 sets, I give the edge to Alcaraz in spades. Just because if that match becomes physical, it's gonna, you're gonna get that giraffe walk, you're gonna get the hip, thing, you're gonna get the back, he's gonna call the trainer. It's just he's just not strong enough physically. And yes, like when he's actually playing and when he's healthy, the mental part is much improved. He's been the best player saving break points. All that is true. But like he hasn't passed the test yet in that element.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's. I guess the question would be like in like a Masters 1000 or a 500, is he the best?
Yeah, I think in the Olympics he's going to be very dangerous. Like I actually would bet him during the Olympics. Um, I did in the futures because like I feel like now everyone is kind of getting on the Alcaraz train, and you might get a better price with Sinner at the Olympics. And I think the fact that it's best of 3 is going to help him tremendously, honestly. Because like best of 3 doesn't help Alcaraz by any means because he's more sloppy, right? Like he can throw away a set with just like a bunch of unforced errors. You don't get that with Sinner, right? Sinner is way more like solid, and that's what brought him to number 1. It's just like if the match goes 5 sets, Alcaraz has a huge edge just because he's going to be there physically,
Yeah, I agree.
right? Like what's Sinner's record in fifth sets of majors? It's got to be bad because like he lost to Medvedev here. He lost to Alcaraz at the French. He lost to Zverev at the U.S. Open. Um, Tsitsipas at the Australian Open. Altmaier at the French. Those were all 5 set losses.
Was Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, wow. Yeah.
Like that's four of his last 5 slam losses were 5 setters.
So he's 6-9 in his career in 5 setters, 2-5 in the past 2 years. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
And like yes, there have been slight improvements in the physicality. Like I feel like if that match with Medvedev happened 2 years ago, he would have pulled the plug. He would have retired. And like I think he acknowledges it's an issue and like he knows that like I have to be tougher and I just have to suck it up and play. And like credit to him, he won the 4th set, So like I'm not saying that he's not making improvements in this aspect. I'm just saying like there's still a long way to go to reach Alcaraz heights.
On physicality for sure,
And he
but
probably never will in his career, honestly.
I don't think he ever will in terms of like physicality. You know what I mean? I think that is probably something that Alcaraz will always own, but they're I don't know. I think he could own like the. I think he could still like. I don't know that he needs that though. Like, I don't think he needs to be better necessarily in terms of physicality than Alcaraz to beat him. He just needs to be able to like get through 5 sets more often than not. You know, like it's
But
yeah.
like you would if you're talking about like the Federer Nadal rivalry, where like Nadal, you can argue is was the more physically like physical player, right? Like he had the edge in physicality. But you would never say that Federer can't last the fifth set, right? Like with Sinner, that's the problem. He can't even last the fifth set,
Right, right.
you know?
Yeah,
So I don't know. Like, but that being said, best of three, if with the Olympics, I think he's a good guy to back, honestly.
yeah.
You know?
Although
So
the challenge is clay, so if he's to play multiple three setters in a row, it could be tough.
yeah, I think it's a 10-day tournament or something, or a 9-day tournament. So there are gonna be some days off in between. So I don't know. Um, I guess let's talk about Alcaraz and like his run. I mean, so he played what Tiafo in the third round, and he played Humbert in the fourth, and then he played Paul. Like he hasn't been convincing, but I just think like no one can maintain that energy and that like intensity for that
Yeah, I
long.
mean, I think it's looked a lot like his U.S. Open run. Not quite to the level of the U.S. Open run, where every match was a 5 setter, but it reminds me of that, where I don't think he's played particularly well. But like he just like it's just, and you see this with Alcaraz more than any other player. Like guys just wear out,
Yeah,
and guys just run out. And after a set, a lot of these guys only last 1 set. Like you'll see him
Paul
wear guys down in best of three.
Paul last set is set and a half.
Yeah,
And I think it's like it doesn't necessarily have to happen in the first two sets, right? Like Humbert didn't show up for the first set, and then he dug in, right? And like he showed up for the second and third, but couldn't. Well, maybe Alcaraz dipped in the third, so that would maybe that's not a good example, I guess, right? But
yeah. I
like,
mean, I think that like so that's the positive side of Alcaraz. The negative side is that he just dips, man. He just has the like, and I don't like. He just has these spells where he just goes into like he just makes a lot of errors. I think he's just so aggressive. He's in terms of the way he strikes the ball. He strikes the ball so aggressively. Um,
yeah,
and but I don't necessarily like. I don't think it's terrible. I don't know. It's hard to like. It's it's hard to judge. It feels like more than with anybody else in Alcaraz. Like for Alcaraz, like winning matches isn't necessarily about winning that match. It's always about like the next step for him. It feels like.
yeah. Yeah, that's what it feels like going into the match. I feel like, once he loses the first set or something, then his antennas go up and then like the whole focus is on that match, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's just that like I guess I think it's more just like tactically, like he's never gonna play like he digs in too much. He's too mentally tough. He's too good physically. He's too good of an athlete to like play 3 bad sets in a row. Right? Like he'll find it, and once he finds it, he'll be fine. But he's also gonna unfind it because he's so aggressive and like he
Yeah.
doesn't. It's like
Well, that's what Ferrero wants. Like if there was a vaccine called the Djokovic, right? he would want to take that vaccine and inject it into Alcaraz, right? Because like I feel like that's really the missing piece with him, you know?
Is the tactics?
Not necessarily the tactics, but the discipline and just like
The discipline, yeah. The
the
discipline. He's a little
discipline is probably
undisciplined
more.
at times,
I
yeah.
think he actually has really good tactics. I think it's more just a discipline
Yeah, I think you're right.
and
That's
implementing the
fair.
tactics consistently.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the discipline, yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm not comparing his discipline to like Shapovalov discipline or Shelton discipline. Like it's not that. It's just it's the consistency of the discipline is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that discipline is going to be tested against Medvedev because like I think Alcaraz of this year at Wimbledon is a step or two below the Alcaraz of last year at Wimbledon.
Well, I mean, is there anything else to recap, or should we just go into the two matches?
Oh, we got to talk about Musetti.
Okay.
No? So are you buying this run?
No.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, like, really, like, okay, he beat Fritz, which is honestly really disappointing from Fritz that he wasn't able to win that match. Like, but
It's
like,
interesting,
that's
honestly.
it. Like he's not beating people. He's just, you know what I mean? Like, he's winning matches, but like, it's just not like. I mean, okay, so like we talked about Djokovic's draw. Musetti's beaten Les Chen, who he lost the first set to, and Les Chen just can't get through a 5-set match. Darderi in 5, Pomasana in 4, a gassed out Pericard where he still lost the first set, and Fritz. Like, Fritz is a good win. And honestly, even Fritz had been struggling with his return game. Like, everything else is, I mean, the first three guys are like, it's just, yeah, he's gotten he got a great draw in terms of being in the right corner. And, you know, look, I mean, credit to him, he's winning matches. Like, I don't think he's like completely terrible, but I don't even think he's worthy of being like a seeded player, to be honest.
So next year on grass, are you going to fade him?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless he makes major improvements to his game, right? But I think the entire market will. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on on the market,
I
right?
have a
Like,
feeling. I have the feeling the market is going to use these grass court results because grass season has such a small sample size, so they're going to use these results to set a line for next year's like Den
yeah,
Bosch
I
match.
mean, if it really does end up that way, then yeah. But I mean, we'll see how the market, and it depends who he plays and obviously all that. But like,
You have a
I
very
mean,
similar take that Tidbits did on.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like, not. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. Like, it's.
I don't know. I was slightly impressed by that Fritz win. I can't like yes, I think it was more bad Fritz than good Musetti, but like still he was there. He was the mentally stronger player in that on that court, like um and like yes, he wasn't good enough to get over the hump against Djokovic at the French, but like, to take him to 5 sets and be there for 4.5 hours, like it's not I think he's shown improvements.
I don't know, man. Like,
Like remember like 2 years ago where when he was playing Golden Swing and couldn't win a match?
I think it was last year, but yeah, I mean, I think he was hurt. To be fair to him, I think he had a he had a hurt shoulder, but yeah, I mean, but look, he lost to Pissarro in Turin. He lost to Ottman, where he just like retired and just decided he didn't want to play.
He
Maybe
made
went to the
12.
second set.
He made 12.
Right? So you're talking about like 3 tournaments that he's played well, and again, like, okay, so what is the win that he's had? Like, I guess a gas Demonar in Queens Club, Thompson in
Yeah.
Queens Club, like, and those are decent wins. Like those aren't like, and that's why I go back to like, I, he might not be. I guess he's not terrible, but he's like a borderline seed or something, right? Like he's,
I'm more impressed by some like certain spurts in his matches. Like I was impressed by that second set against Paul. I thought that was a very high level. I was impressed by the second and third sets against Demonor. I understand he was gassed, but like it was still good. I
but
was
that's been the
impressed by
story
the
of
fifth
Musetti's
set
career.
against Fritz.
Like we've seen Musetti put together great stretches of tennis, right? He was up 2 sets on Djokovic at the French Open. Was it way back? Was it a couple of years ago? Like
Yeah.
we've seen him put together stretches.
Like the match we saw live in Miami, that Shelton match. That was a very high quality tennis match.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've seen Musetti play stretches of really good tennis,
Yeah.
but
He's just,
yeah,
I guess, putting it together, being the beneficiary of having a good draw and kind of putting it together in the correct moments, right? And I
yeah. I mean,
can,
I'm honestly like the thing is like I'm not surprised. The only guy that I'm surprised he beat in that group of guys this tournament is Taylor Fritz,
yeah, yeah,
right? Like everybody else, I would expect him to beat.
fair, fair points. I don't think I'm slightly as low as you are, but I'm not like super high. For
Yeah.
like, yeah, but you're low on Musetti and you're low on Djokovic. So after the break, I'm
Yep.
pretty curious to see what you have to say about that matchup.
All
So
right.
we'll be
So I guess
right
we go to the
back.
break now. Quick
Yep.
2 minute break.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. So we're back to preview the two semis at Wimbledon. So I guess we ended with the break talking about Djokovic and Musetti. So like I guess let's start there, even though that's the second semi. Let me share the screen here. Because I'm very, very curious to see what you have to say because like you are down on you're low on both guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm higher on both of them slightly. I mean, like not terribly, but like I think I'm higher. So like, where did you go here with Musetti, a 6.5 game underdog plus 550 on the money line, over under 35?
Yeah. So my take on this is I would really doubt Musetti's ability to win this match. I mean, just nerves. I mean, mostly the nerves aspect. I mean, I just don't know that he has like the mental gumption to beat Djokovic in the best of five. Um, so I would have a lot more faith in Djokovic from like a money line perspective. So I would start there. I probably wouldn't bet the money line. Um, that said, Djokovic, there were some concerns about the abs, right? For Djokovic, there were some injury concerns, and I don't think he's looked very good in terms of form. I do think 6.5 games is way too wide. Like I don't think the difference between him and like this was the spread was like 7 when like I'm not talking about random matches, but like the spread was like 7 when like Dimitrov played like Lajovic in the first round. Like I don't think this like you know what I mean? I mean honestly, like I don't think this gap here is like the gap between Dimitrov and Lajovic, you know? So like it's see I think that like I would never take Djokovic to lay the games,
Wow.
but
Did you see that line movement just in that last
yeah,
like
up to minus
hit?
900. Yeah, see, they're listening to me. They're hearing my take. They know Djokovic money line is the way to go. No, but I think where I might be looking is the bet that I've looked at here is over 14 and a half player games won for Musetti. I think that's minus 120.
Oof, look at these props.
Yeah, there's a lot of props.
Yeah, minus 120. So basically, he has to win a set. And if he does, that's 6 games. He has to win a total of 9 in the next, what, 3 sets?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah, so you think he's live to win a set, right? I mean, can he get there 14 and a half if it's 6, 6, and 3?
6-3-3-3 gets you to 15.
Well, what I'm saying is, can he get there without winning a set?
Yeah, if he wins 5 games in each set, so 5-5-5 gets you there. 6-5-4, 6-6-3. Yeah,
I kind of like that. I mean, I've opted to, I'm playing a very similar line. I'm just playing the over 35.
they're very similar. They're
They're,
extremely similar.
yeah,
The only thing is, I get like the random like Djokovic is really, and I doubt. I think if he's that hurt, he would just retire or not play. But I do get like or if Djokovic is just like so bad that like it just doesn't, like if he comes out and lays a complete egg like he did against Sinner, and Musetti like somehow, gets up 2 sets and then feels a little more mentally free to like win the third. I get that, but that's like otherwise you're just taking the over 35. It's the same thing otherwise.
yeah,
I'm not saying it's likely at all, Manny. You know what I mean? I'm saying it's worth like to me, it's worth the difference between -110 and -120. I'm not saying it's worth a lot.
right, right. I mean, I'll make one of those GBM. If you want to just make like, I mean, we could do like a variation because like I think they're very, very similar.
I think they're very similar as
Um,
well. Yeah.
so I think we can make a GBM. I mean, I'm pretty confident over 35. Like I think Musetti's live to win a set. I just think I prefer the over 35 because you can get there in three, and the over 3.5, I believe is like -115. Yeah, -115. So like I'd rather just play the over 35.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, and then the Musetti. I mean, either one, I think is fine. I think I think all those overs are. I like overs here. I think you're absolutely right, man. We're on the same page here. I think that you
Yeah.
could take Djokovic to win and Musetti to win a set. That's +120. I think. I just don't think that's a great price given the overs. Given what the overs, I'd rather take the overs here.
Now, one thing
That's
I was thinking about with this matchup is like the Djokovic rust because he hasn't played in 3 days versus the Musetti fatigue playing five against Fritz. Do you think either is a factor?
I mean, Musetti spent quite a bit of time on the court, right? Like not just against Fritz, but I'm saying like throughout the tournament, right? Has he had a straight sets win yet?
I don't think so.
He has not. He's lost a set in every match. He's played 22 sets. So that could be an issue. I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Um,
tennis. I mean, luck, in grass, the points are not that long. So, like, if this was on clay, I'd be much more concerned. Um, Let me check the time of the matches. Oh, they're not up on Tennis Abstract. But yeah, he went 4-5-4-4-5. It's a lot of tennis.
yeah, total of about 15 hours on court, almost 16 hours on court. So
Mm-hmm.
not Medvedev levels, but quite a bit.
And like we talk about, I don't think Musetti's the physically strongest guy.
No, no. I
I
mean, I
think,
think another option would be Musetti in the Musetti the set one money line on Musetti at +260. Or if you're looking for an interesting prop, what's the over 10.5 games in sets 1 and 2 combined for Musetti? That's the under is -500. So the over's probably got to be like +3 something, I would think.
yeah,
They may
plus
not even have it.
plus 350.
So you need him to. I mean, that's especially if you have a close first set that Musetti wins, or you have a close first. Like if one of those sets goes over 10.5 games, then Musetti wins a set. I think that could be a good look as an interesting prop. I'll probably. I haven't looked at the. I haven't like decided on props yet, but that's a
Yeah.
prop I very well may be hitting.
I like the both players to break serve in the first set at plus 260. That seems like a good price.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. I like that also.
I'm probably gonna hit that. I prefer the full match overs, honestly, because I don't know. If that goes 4, you're gonna hit the over 35. It's almost certain.
I mean, but it's a price thing, right? Like, I don't think Musetti's going to win over 10.5 games in the first 2 sets. But at plus 350, that price looks awfully good.
So he has to win one of them and get to 5 games in the other.
Or win one of them 7-5 or 7-6 and then get to 4 games in the other.
Yeah, but you can't rely on his serve. And like we saw against Fritz, remember in the first set where he just like completely just gifted a service game?
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm not too confident. I prefer when you have multiple sets to get to the over, which I prefer I mean, I understand the price is not as good, but like I'd rather just stick with that. Like this is ridiculous. Like how is both players to break serve in the first set plus 260, but Djokovic did not lose serve in the entire match plus 300? Like that's ridiculous.
No, I mean, I
This,
think it kind of makes sense. Like, because you need both to break, right? Like, and a lot of times on grass, a lot of the sets, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how often have both players broken in the same set on grass this year, you know? Or even like Musetti's matches, for instance. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Um, double faults because this on first glance looks pretty good. Djokovic to win, serve the most aces and the least double faults. Like I'm pretty certain about the first two. I'm just not. The double faults is a little bit iffy.
So,
Against Fritz, he had 3 doubles. Against Pericard, he had no doubles. That's not good. Komasana, he had 1. Darderi, he had 4. And Lestienne, he had 0. So it seems like there's some variance with it. Djokovic, I feel like he hits more doubles when he feels more pressure on serve. Because like he'll go for that big second serve occasionally.
yeah, I've always felt that too. It's just hard to quantify. But yeah, I've always felt that way just from the eye test. I agree.
He had 3 against Poppy. He had 2 against Rune. He had 3 against Fernley. And he had 2 against Kopriva. So like he's like between 2 and 3.
Well, I guess if you're just looking year to date, right? Musetti's double faulted on 2% of service points.
Uh-huh.
Djokovic 2.5.
So are you willing to take that bit of variance for I guess there's variance with that.
Yeah.
Because like to win and serve the most aces, I think that like there's like a 80 to 85% chance of both of those hitting.
Yeah, I mean, Musetti is one of the weaker serves in the tour, right? Like,
Right. I'm probably gonna hit that. And I kind of like the tie on the double faults. If it's a difference between 2 and 2.5%, like that's a very, very small difference. What line do you get for that? Plus 400, the draw on doubles?
yeah, I think that could be decent. Yeah.
Another one I really liked here was the minus 3.5 on aces for Djokovic on the aces spread.
Yep.
Like, I don't think like Musetti's line is 5.5. I think it's going to be pretty hard to get there, honestly.
I mean, Musetti 12 against Lashan, probably not the best. Probably not the best match to look at, but he did hit 12 against Constant Lechen, 13 against Arderi in 5 sets, 4 against Komasana, 3 against Pericard. What was it? 3 set and 7 against Fritz in 5 sets. Those last 3 are pretty troublesome, actually, pretty worrying. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
3.5 is not that much. Like, Djokovic spot serving is a big part of his game. Like, and he's gonna want to limit the rallies. I think he's gonna go slightly bigger on serve. That's my on first thought. Because like if we think about Djokovic, like he's actually been very aggressive this tournament. Like I think he wants to avoid those longer rallies. So he's gonna be looking for like serve +1 kind of points.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see this line only at 3.5. I tend to agree. After looking at it, I tend to agree. Djokovic has always been good for like 10 to 15 aces in a match. I don't think Musetti's a particularly difficult guy to ace.
No,
he's a particularly easy guy to ace.
yeah,
I just think he's like very, very. He's pretty average. What?
He's not Medvedev.
Yeah, yeah. And Djokovic, I always talk about being aceable, but he's not TFO or somebody. He's just, maybe a little more aceable than the average guy.
Yeah, but Musetti is also not a big server necessarily. So like Musetti he serves to kind of get the point started.
What is the over-under on total aces?
14.5.
Like that feels low, but my only concern would be that I don't know what if there's a lot of. I mean, the other thing, if we're talking about an injury concern for Djokovic and a fatigue concern for Musetti, that could bring that aces count down. But it already seems like that's factored in.
I mean, also going over, there's juice.
Yeah, yeah.
I prefer playing the spread at -115. I like the Djokovic -3.5.
I get it. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's just if he's got an abdominal injury, that's going to make it harder to serve. That's why these lines scare me.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, but otherwise, I agree with you. I think your logic makes sense. It's just,
Yeah, I already hit it, so I'm gonna stick with it. I like this Djokovic to win, serve the most aces and the least doubles at +300.
yeah, I may end up backing you on that. I may end up backing on that. Probably not.
No.
It's funny. Like, if you could get a push if they tied on doubles, I would probably actually back it. But I think like
the prop markets, probably. It has to be like less, otherwise you didn't. Yeah.
right. It's basically Djokovic to win, Djokovic plus half an ace, and Musetti Djokovic minus half an ace, and Musetti minus half a double. And like on the double faults, like if we really think there's a 20% chance of a draw, which there probably is, it could even be more. Like that really hurts that bet.
True. Good point. Good point. Because the equal on doubles is +400.
Right.
That's probably the better way to play it, honestly. Like, also, if this match is quick, right, that there's less chances of doubles for each.
Yep. Yep.
So I think I'm gonna play that +400 on the doubles. Yeah. Did I have any other plays here? I don't think so. Yeah, that's it. I have the -3.5 on the aces. I got 1 unit on that. I'm gonna play 1 unit on the equal on doubles. You know what? I kind of like this Musetti plus 260 on the first set money line. Like, that seems like a good price.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that. I don't know. I'm still debating if I actually want to hit it, but I it looks good to me. I mean, it looks like a decent price to me. Like I just don't like. I don't think Musetti's that much worse of a tennis player than Djokovic right now on grass. Just because Djokovic hasn't shown very much, I just don't trust Musetti's ability to actually win the match.
Right, right. Yeah, it's tricky because like I don't know whether is Musetti going to come out like with heavy legs since he's played a lot of tennis, or is Djokovic going to come out rusty? Like that's really hard to gauge.
Yeah,
So maybe I'll just stick with the overs. But if that price moves up to like plus 280, for example, then I think I might be enticed to hit that. But I think we're kind of on the same page here in this match. Do you like the no tiebreak here?
yeah, I think we are. Yeah, I think it's. Is it? What's the line?
Djokovic to win and no tiebreak is plus 125. Um,
I actually don't know if I like that, man. Like, no, like I don't know. Like I don't like. I feel a lot better if it was like if instead of tiebreak they said like a break in every set. You know.
yeah. I mean, if you just play the under half a tiebreak, it's even money.
Then I'd way rather play the joke. Well, maybe. I mean, yeah. So basically, like, so the difference between that is like, do you think Djokovic has a 90% chance of winning the match? That seems excessive to me. Giving him a 90% chance to win, like that feels excessive to me.
Yeah. Do you like both players to win a set and Djokovic to win at plus 120? Do you prefer that than the overs, or you would
No,
just
I like. I mean, I like that, but I like the overs better. Like,
okay?
because I think I mean, like the vast majority of the time, if that's going to happen, the overs are going to come in, right? So you're not like getting any other thing. You're not getting anything there. And with the overs, you're getting like if Musetti somehow pulls the match out, you know?
Yeah, if Musetti
But you're
wins,
giving up 30
the
cents for
over is
that.
probably
Like,
going to hit.
what?
If Musetti wins, the over 35 is
Five probably hits, yeah.
right. But I have no confidence in Musetti is going to get through this.
Neither
Like
do I. It's gonna be
zero,
Djokovic in the
just
final.
zero.
It's gonna be so lame.
Like honestly, Musetti to win, Djokovic to serve the most aces, and Musetti to serve the most double faults is 33-1.
It's interesting.
It is. It is.
I'm not gonna be taking it, but it's interesting.
No. Yeah, the mental gap is just so massive here.
Yeah,
Like
I think there's a pretty big mental gap here too.
it's huge. It's huge. Also, like Musetti, just to get here is a win for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Complacency is a big part of this matchup. Like, I don't know how complacent is he going to be. Is he just going to be like in awe being in a Grand Slam semi and like, you know, playing Djokovic on center court?
He's also putting a lot of time, so there could be. I mean, we haven't seen the fatigue yet, but he's putting a lot of court time too.
Yeah, yes. But there could also be Djokovic rust. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm probably gonna hit the plus 260. Like the more I think about it, like
I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure if I'm gonna hit it yet, but I think that makes a lot of sense. I could see myself definitely getting behind that.
yeah.
Like I just think as tennis players, this match is like I don't know. I have not been impressed by Djokovic's tennis. I haven't been
Well,
impressed by Musetti's tennis either, but I have not been impressed by Djokovic's
it's
tennis.
also been a good matchup for Musetti in the past. Like I'm not weighing the clay court matches too much, but like in general, Musetti has had decent success against Novak.
Has he ever beaten him?
He has in Monte Carlo.
That's right. Well, okay. Yeah, sure.
So this one
Like
you're
Djokovic was like unable to play tennis. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean this year Monte Carlo was 7-5-6-3. Beat him last year Monte Carlo 4-6 7
I
5
remember that match. Didn't
4.
Djokovic have the sleeve on that match though? Like he was having a hard time serving. He
Yeah.
was serving like 70 miles an hour. It was really bad.
A quick hard court. That was easy pickings. Dubai 6-3-3.
I mean, that's the French where
So
Musetti's
Musetti
really
really
best.
only has success against Novak on clay, but I think this is the worst version of Novak he's going to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's
Right.
why I think Musetti's. I don't know.
So
From a tennis perspective, I think he's somewhat live. I just don't know that I just
yeah,
don't know that I believe that in Musetti to actually mentally get over the hump. That's the big question for me here.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. So are we making the over 35 or the over 14?
Yeah, we can make either one GBM. I think they're both good looks.
Cool, cool. All right, let's move on to the first semi. That is Medvedev against Alcaraz. So Medvedev is a 4.5 game underdog. Plus 285 on the money line. Alcaraz is minus 350. The over-under is 39.5, which keeps moving up, actually. So I'm on Alcaraz here. I think, as we've seen by the head-to-head, I mean, it's still a good matchup. Like, yes, Medvedev got him at the US Open last year. Medvedev seems to find these wins against like these top guys when people least expect it, I would say. Because he
I
makes
don't
the
know. I
technical
think there's a
adjustments.
couple examples of it, but I just think he occasionally finds these wins. Like he's still as a top five player, and like he's good enough to be capable of beating these guys. Like we talk about like who's like realistically capable of pulling off wins against these top guys, and that being a short list. But Medvedev's on that list of probably 10 to 15 guys.
Yeah,
Not that are likely to do it, but that are capable, And so like, yeah, like if Medvedev plays out of his shoes, he can win. If Alcaraz is making a ton of errors, Medvedev could win. And Medvedev also, I think, has like the mental toughness to win. I don't know if he has like a mental advantage in this match, but like I think he has the mental toughness to win the match. Like I don't think he's going to be scared. So
no, definitely not. Yeah. And
yeah,
I think
I
Medvedev
mean,
is
I
so
actually
underappreciated.
what?
I feel like we always, I mean, when we like going back to last year when we did a pod, when he played Alcaraz at the US Open, like before that match, we were like Alcaraz 3-0, Medvedev, the terrible matchup, right? And then like he finds a way to win. And then I feel like the same thing happened with Sinner. And like Medvedev is a guy where physicality doesn't matter. Like he's just always there. Like he's just so underappreciated, I feel like. And that's what I fear here. Like I'm pro Alcaraz here, and I think the line is getting to the point where you can actually back him in some capacity, but like boy, am I like hesitant to go go against Medvedev.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This line is giving Medvedev, like the unjuiced. What's the unjuiced the unjuiced line here? Like minus like plus minus 320. The line's giving Medvedev like a 25% ish chance to win.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Um, I don't know that I want to get behind. Like that still means he wins 1 out of 4. What I mean? It doesn't mean he never wins. Like again, if he plays really well and Alcaraz is even a little bit off,
Mhm.
Medvedev, he absolutely could win this match. Um, I think these lines are all pretty well set, to be honest. This is probably where I would put these. Like, I have a hard time seeing Alcaraz win 3-0 just because like he'd have to play really well for the
I
entire
really like
match.
the I really like the Alcaraz 3-1.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is I don't know if you saw this, but I think Gil Gross posted something like on X. Medvedev's return position against Sinner, he was returning from further in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't say that he's not trying to make adjustments.
Yeah, he's definitely trying. His brain is churning for sure.
Yeah,
And he's one of the more cerebral tennis players out there for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, physicality's not a problem. He's always looking for tactical adjustments. Uh, just an overall great tennis player. It's you can't say any different, like he's
yeah,
maximized what he has. Like I feel like people don't give him the respect that he deserves. And I fear that I'm doing the same by going pro Alcaraz here.
yeah. Like I said, I think the line itself is pretty fair. I kind of like the 3-1 for Alcaraz.
I do too. I ended
Also,
up
what's the
hitting.
over on the breaks for Medvedev?
So I hit a couple bets here actually. I hit the over under or the over 5.5 breaks at -115.
See, yeah, I like that a lot. I think that would be my favorite place to go here is the over 5.5 breaks. I think that
We can make that GBM because I really like that too. I see some breaks here. Like Alcaraz can break himself, right? But then also Alcaraz is going to dig into all of Medvedev's service games, and like those are going to be battles. So, um, I don't know. Like I think there's
yeah,
a
I think I mean I gotta think more about it. I don't think it's like for me, it's not like an automatic must hit. I gotta think more about it, but I'll probably end up on that with you. But yeah, yeah, I hear your point. I think your logic makes a lot of sense here.
Okay, I'm on that one. I like the 3-1 at what was it plus
230 or something, 250, the standard probably
255.
255. Yeah.
Yeah. Both players to break serve in the first set at plus 260. I hit,
That one would scare me more.
and I hit the Alcaraz to win and no tiebreak in the match at plus 220.
Okay.
It scares me a little bit, granted that they played first set tiebreaks at the US Open and Indian Wells this year. So I think
Yeah.
if there's a tiebreak, the most likely set is the first set for sure. Um, so I was looking at this as well. Alcaraz to win the first set 7-6 and win the match at plus 600. Because they've never played a tiebreak in any other set but the first set.
Okay.
So I don't know how much to take from that, but like,
Yeah, I don't know how much to take from that either.
yeah, it might be more coincidental, but like, I don't know. Yeah. I just think like Alcaraz, the match against Tiafoe, both players broke in the first set. The matchup against Paul, both players broke in the first set. Um, so and the court kind of slows down a little bit, I feel like later in the week, later in the tournament.
It does. It doesn't. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I may end up on that with you. I get the logic. We'll probably both end up on that. I think I in general like breaks in this matchup. Um.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think there may be a lot of break props I end up on.
How many breaks did Alcaraz get in last year's semifinal?
Oh, I don't think it was more than like 4 to 5, maybe
3, 3, and 3.
6. Wow.
Wow.
So
See,
there were 8 total.
Medvedev got 2 and Alcaraz got 6. He had 14 break points.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
the over 5.5 might be good here on the
At the
breaks.
US Open, Alcaraz got 1, but he had 9 break points, and Medvedev had 3. But 9 break points, right? So like there's variance in that. He was
Yeah,
creating
for sure.
opportunities. World Tour Finals, 2 for Alcaraz. Indian Wells this year. 4 breaks in 2 sets. 10 break points in 2 sets. So there have been breaks in all of these matches.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So 5.5 seems like a fairly low number for a match we think goes most likely 4 sets.
Yeah, I'll probably end up backing that. I mean, I think the breaks is something I like here. And I think the 3-1 is a playable bet. I don't love the price, but I think it's playable.
Mm-hmm. And just because like we think that the like their breaks, I think the no tiebreak is a decent bet here too. I saw plus 170. If you don't want to like you get 50 cents better if you bet Alcaraz to win and no tiebreak. But if you just bet the no tiebreak, it's plus 170.
Yeah, I tend to like the no tiebreak better at the plus 170. I mean, I think Medvedev could win this match 1 out of 4 times. I actually do think the money line's pretty fair there.
Yeah.
Ooh, the double faults handicap. That could be a good one. The over for Medvedev doubles.
That could be
That could be a good one to hit. Medvedev is definitely susceptible to double fault.
Yes. What's the line? Five and a
Two and
half.
a half. I think it was minus 2.5 was the spread.
Oh, the
I'm
spread. Yeah.
sure it is because
Three.
it's 5.5 versus 3.5.
Do they have double fault spread?
I think they had it somewhere. I just don't think it was. I don't know. Maybe they don't have it listed in the right place. But yeah,
I see the aces spread, but I don't see the
maybe they
doubles.
don't have a double spread then up yet. But yeah, but it'll be somewhere around 2 to 2.5 if Medvedev's over under is 5.5 and Alcaraz's is 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a match I would not play the draw in doubles.
Yeah.
Um, Alcaraz has had a good number of aces in this match. In this,
Well, I don't know. Medvedev's so hard to ace though. 10 aces could be a lot for Alcaraz in this match.
against Paulie at 7, against Umberry at 14, Tiafoe he had 16, Bukic 11, Hall 4.
At first glance, I don't like it. How much has Medvedev been aced in this tournament? That would be a question. Center aced him
Sinner,
17 times. Wow.
because
Wow.
he's standing closer.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a big part of it. Because Struve faced him 10 times.
That's really not that much in 4 long sets.
Muller 5, but like, yeah, I mean, Alcaraz's serve is way better than Muller's. Kovacev chased him 9 times.
Yeah.
What's 11 to 1 on the draw on the aces? I think I'm going to put half a unit on that. Because if Medvedev is standing closer, he's way easier to ace.
Yeah. True. True.
So, and Alcaraz has been getting double digits.
True.
So I mean, obviously there's variance, but like half a unit, just for fun.
All right.
Yeah. So, GBM will be the Musetti Djokovic over.
And that's it. I don't have anything of this GBN worthy on this match.
No over on breaks. 5.5,
Maybe I'll let you know. This is the first semi. What time is it? 8 a.m. or something?
8:30. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might be on it. I don't know. It's probably not GBM worthy though. I'd probably rather split my money over the various different break props than just hit the over 5.5.
Okay. How about these like semifinal specials on Bovada? Do you look at these? Over 7.5 sets played in both semifinals combined is minus 135.
That looks not very exciting, to be honest. Well, maybe it's okay. I don't.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't like these in general, to be honest. Like,
All four guys to win a set at plus 175.
no.
No, me neither.
The price on these just aren't very good.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Djokovic and Alcaraz both to win 3-1 is 11 to 1.
Which is
That
you're better off just hitting a 2 to win independently.
or parlaying the two, probably.
Yeah.
But I think those are the most likely outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great prices. We're not gonna hit these.
Yeah.
Like both semis to go to a fifth set tiebreak, like that would have to be like 1,000 to 1 for me to hit that.
Yeah, I would kind of agree.
Yeah. So all right. Before we go, what's your take on the European Championship final between England and Spain?
So I haven't looked at the betting line, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I would think that Spain would have to be a pretty significant favorite. I think they're a significantly better team than England, personally.
I agree.
But England's playing better. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know the line. I haven't looked a single bit at the line yet. And so plus soccer's always so hard to evaluate because you have the draw in there. But if I had to bet on who I think will win the game, I think it'll be Spain, but I'm also guessing Spain is a pretty significant favorite.
Spain is plus 150. The draw. England is plus 240. The draw is plus 180. I mean, I'd lean the draw. Like these finals always are very, everyone's tight. Everyone's like doesn't want to concede. There have been more goals in the semis than in the quarters for sure. But usually these finals are very kind of sloggy.
It just seems like the market's come down on that, though. Look, your over-under is 2.
Yeah, markets adjusted for sure. I mean, if I think of major championship finals, like a lot of them have gone to extra time. The last European Championship, Italy and England was penalties. Spain, Holland in 2010 was penalties. Italy, France in 06 was penalties. Even what was it? Argentina, Germany in 14, that was extra time. 18 was not between France and Croatia. 20 was that was the England, Italy. And then last World Cup, that was 3-3, that classic France Argentina game. So like most of these games have gone to extra time.
A
So
lot of them have, certainly. Yeah, I mean, and that kind of plays with the under too.
It does. It does. But yeah, I would lean the penalties or something like that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But yeah, hoping for a good match. I mean, Sunday's a great sports day. You got a Wimbledon final, then you got this, and then you got the Copa America final.
You do, yeah. Canada versus Uruguay, though. I don't know. That's not the most exciting.
It's Brazil versus.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're right.
Argentina versus Colombia.
Colombia one, right? Colombia,
Right.
Argentina. What am I talking about? That's what is Canada Uruguay? That's the third place game, right?
That's the third place game. Yeah, there's no third place game for the Euro, which is good.
Yeah,
it's the way it should be. But
tend to agree.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So have a good night and enjoy the rest of
Good luck on your Wimbledon semis bets.
Yes, and we'll be back next week for 4 250s?
Yeah, probably like middle of next week, unless we end up doing because it's
yeah. We'll be live at Newport for day one.
For day one, yeah, we will be. We'll be welcome live video from Newport. Day one, Newport, baby.
Yes.
Most important event on the tour.
All right, everyone. Have a good
All right,
night.
everyone, have a good night.
See ya.